Okay, so we did the Aleef today, the Hamzas and the Aleefs, okay? So I'm going to just go through this with you all just very quickly. I'll try to keep it as brief as possible, but remember there were certain points that we did learn, around about 5 points, so we'll try to go through those 5 points, and also then we will go through the examples, okay? So the first thing we said was that Hamza, so there are two letters, okay? That we look at. There is this, okay? This is Hamza and this is Aleef, okay? So the first point that we mentioned was that Aleef, which is a straight line, is actually used for stretching an sound, okay? Stretching an sound. And the Hamza is for making the sound, okay? So that was the first point that we said, okay? And let's actually go through Hamza first of all, okay? So let's look at what we're looking at the moment, okay? Now, okay, so then we spoke about these Hamzas here, okay? And we said, look at these are examples of Hamzas, but there are more examples as well, okay? So we said that Hamza is, they say Hamza is very small and he needs a chair, okay? So here you can see the Hamza, okay? And he's sitting on this Aleef. And actually, this whole thing would be called Hamza, okay? And then if you look at the last one, it's the same thing. You've got the Aleef, okay? And the Hamza underneath it, okay? Now, we haven't done the symbols yet, so we're not really doing sounds, okay? But Hamza itself makes an at sound, an at, okay? So some people get confused because Hamza begins with a ha. So when you ask them what sound does Hamza make, they instinctively want to say ha. Okay, so it's not. It's okay. So this is it. And look, the Hamza is on the top there, bottom here. This would make an this would make an e. But at the moment, I don't want you to concentrate on the sound so much, just to recognize it. So as long as you can recognize that this is a Hamza and recognize that it makes like an sound, that's good enough for the meantime, okay? So that's two forms, okay? Then the middle one is pretty much the same, okay? The only difference is that the Aleef here, they're showing that it joins, okay, and joins to the right, okay? So that's an important point, okay? So far, what have we learned? We've learned that Hamza, okay, can be in any one of these forms, and it makes an okay? Okay. Now the second point that we're going to talk about before we move on to the letters at the bottom there is that Hamza, as we mentioned, needs a chair. Okay, so you might see Hamza on a wall, okay, or a ya, okay, like this, okay. And I'm going to draw the Hamza on, but in that case, we're not going to pronounce the woe or the ya, okay? So it will look like this, okay? We are going to pronounce the Hamza, okay? So again, it will not be like any woe or ya sound. It will be again the at sound, okay? The other way that you will see Hamza is sometimes there will be a bridge, okay? Okay? And you will see the Hamza, okay, either sitting on top or underneath. And again, it's going to be the same, okay? And sometimes you might just see him by himself, okay? So these are all the ways that you can see it, okay? These are all the ways that you can see it. Let me just take a quick screenshot for the group, okay? And then we can move on, okay? Okay, so let's just clean this up very quickly. And now let's move down. Okay, so now we've talked about Hamza, okay? Now the other confusing point with Aleef or Hamza is, how to recognize them in their joined up forms, okay? So we spoke about a leaf actually being the stretching sound, okay, but because that's to do more with the sound production, we're not going to look so much into that. What we want to look at today is how do you recognize it, okay? So this is a leaf here, okay? Okay, it's like that, okay? And then you've got this one here. And I just remembered a point actually. So in the Hamzas, the other Hamza that you can see is something called a Hamzatul Wasl, okay? But it's probably fine to show it here, okay? Because you have this kind of funny symbol. It doesn't look exactly like this, but I'll show it to you in the Quran. So that's another kind of Hamza that you'll see, okay? So anyhow, that's it. But this is your Alif, okay? So the point I want you to note is that the Alif, when it joins, okay, it's moving to the right, okay? Okay, so don't quote me on this. We might go through the Quran and see different, different forms. But so far, the Quran that we've been using, we can see that it's joining to the right, okay? So when it's joined, so for example, you have got a bar here, okay, and then the alif is here. It joins to the bar on the right side, okay, and it won't join on that side, okay. So that's how a leaf joins, okay. And as opposed to this, a lam, because a lam will look very similar to this, okay. A lam will actually be joined on the left, okay, like this, okay. So lam looks like this anyway, okay? But when it's joined, it looks very much like an alif, okay? It will be joined to the left, or it can be joined on both sides, okay? Like that, okay? So that's what you're looking for, okay? Those are the differentiating points, okay? So we spoke about the hamzas, how you will spot them, their sounds, and we spoke about joining, okay? Now let me stop sharing this, okay? Okay. And let me quickly open up some images for you that we shared today. Okay, and in my class, usually I discuss each one and I give everyone a turn to try to, to try to find uh, the, uh, the Hamza. Okay, look, this is the Hamzatul Wasl in yellow. Okay, the straight line with that symbol on the top. Okay, next to it, is it there? Yep, alam, okay? So this is the word alhamdu, and you can see it's moving and joining to the left, okay? So lam, la, left, okay? Then again, you've got the meme, and then after that, you've got the lam in the middle, and you can see it's joining on both sides, okay? To the meme on one side and the kaf on the other side, okay? And you can see the image in the left corner that I've drawn to remind you. Again, here's a Hamza underneath the alif, so this will make an eat sound, okay? And this is iyaka, okay? Then you've got in pink, this is an alif. This is the one that is stretching the ass sound. But the point I want you to note is it's there and it's joining to the right, okay? And of course, you've got the Hamza at the beginning, another Hamza. Okay, so this is an alif. So this is a lam and an alif, okay? This is slightly more difficult. So we're not going to go into it today, okay? Then you've got so the Hamza on the wall, an example of Hamza on the wall, and again you will pronounce the Hamza, not the wall, okay? And Hamza under the bridge, okay? And again the Hamza is produced, the sound is produced. You've got a Hamza at the beginning, and obviously you've got after the wall, you've got a lam joining to the left, okay? Another Hamza all by himself, okay? The Hamza is not on the wall in this case, but on the wall there is an alif with a mother. But again, let's not go too much into that today, okay? And then again, you've got this is just to show you that wall with the alif to stretch the wa sound, okay? But like I said, I'm not going to concentrate on that too much. another Hamza and a Hamza. Okay, this is the one I want to show you. So this is a Ya with a Hamza, okay? And this is the word yubadi'u. Yubadi'u. So you can see that it's the A sound, okay? So this is a Hamza with something called a Dhamma on top, and so it makes a U sound, okay? Rather than an A sound. But it's not making a Ya sound, okay? So that's what I wanted to kind of point out, okay? So that's done for today.